My name is Michelle Staton, and I founded CryptoLingo. I got involved in blockchain technology really in 2016. There was a group called Women in Blockchain here in New York City, a meetup that I went to. And at first there was about 12 of us around a table. Now there are almost 2,000 people in the group on meetup. But I had heard about cryptocurrency actually in June 2011. I was working at the Senate at the time, and one of the senators had sent a letter kind of condemning Bitcoin because of its affiliation with the Silk Road. So initially I thought, what is this, bad thing? And once I realized that it's not bad and the technology behind it is actually amazing, then I started really taking it seriously. And once I really learned how it worked from a technical perspective, I couldn't justify to myself spending my time on anything else. So I started CryptoLingo because there was a real lack of understanding between the tech sector and the government and what the regulations and the legislation was saying about cryptocurrency and blockchain technology. I saw a lot of people get it wrong. There would be a bill that mentioned digital currency 2 words out of a 528-page bill, and people would write about, oh, the government's trying to take your Bitcoin at the border, and I just, no, that's so inaccurate. And so my background is actually at the Senate and in government in general, doing policy, and so I wanted to kind of be a resource for tech companies and law firms to be able to understand what legislation is out there and what the regulations are, because there's a severe lack of clarity in the space. Key milestones for CryptoLingo is initially to have a free light version that people can go to that they can see the basic bills in the US legislature, and then what the SEC is saying regarding ICOs. And then there's a pro version for companies, a B2B model, and they can have all the details of the legislation, both at the national level and at the state level, and then all the different agencies, because there's an alphabet soup of different regulators in the US alone talking about cryptocurrencies and who are all debating their jurisdictions. So that is the second step. Down the road, I would like to expand to worldwide coverage, and we have a lot of exciting things happening in the works for that right now. It came a little bit sooner than I thought, so that's kind of the roadmap. So I'd say the biggest challenges so far, just getting everything done in time. There's a whole lot of bills that I am summarizing, and every day it seems like there's something new that regulators are coming out and saying. So it's kind of getting everything on there in an expedited manner and just getting it released. I see the future of blockchain being everywhere. I don't think all of the people who say it's so as big as the internet, I don't think that's hype. I don't think that's exaggeration. I'm not one to just jump on board with something new and trendy. I'm actually kind of the opposite of that. But I think blockchain technology can fundamentally change the way society does transactions, both transfer of value and keeping records. And so I think it'll have a big impact on probably supply chains. I think we've made some progress on that already, and I hope it should have a big impact in the developing world where they can have issues with identity verification and areas like Jordan, for example. The UN has a project where they're working with Jordanian refugee camps to distribute their food, and it's actually been very successful. They turned their pilot program into a full-time program. They extended it and have expanded it, and they're saving money that they would ordinarily lose to third-party intermediaries. And so I hope it can have a big impact in the humanitarian sector. So right now it's just me. I know how to code too. I learned to code actually when I was 15, and then picked it back up when I moved to New York after my senator retired in DC. I moved to New York to get involved in the tech sector. I was doing iOS apps before I really started getting involved with blockchain. And so right now it's me coding everything, making contacts. Thankfully I have a I knew a lot of people in the space just from being involved with it for a couple years, and especially in the women in blockchain community, we were so small initially, and so I feel like we all know each other from back then, or a lot of us at least are aware of each other, and so that's helped instrumentally because a lot of those women are now at large companies in the space, so that's kind of how it's expanded. It's been amazing to see the women in blockchain community in New York alone just expand over the past couple years. Like I said, we started off in 2016 with a meetup.com group, and there was just a few of us around a table. The woman who runs it is from Consensus. She's very passionate about getting more women involved in blockchain technology, and then it's just skyrocketed ever since. And I used to joke about how, like, oh, I'm going to a blockchain meetup and, like, you know, all 12 of us women in blockchain, and now it's not a joke anymore. There's so many of us, and the events are all sold out. It's crazy but amazing to see, and so many more women are getting involved and learning about what this technology is. And I run a Facebook group called Women in Blockchain, and it's just also shot up in membership, and it's great to have that space, at least online, where the women can ask questions and not feel dumb, you know, not feel like they're going to be judged or have a bunch of people jump all over them. They're just free to say, you know, express whatever they want regarding this technology. And then the meetups that we go to are mixed gender, so men are more than welcome to come, and they do, and they're very supportive, but mostly the speakers are women. My advice would be, don't be in it for the short-term greed aspect. Don't just jump on a bunch of ICOs or do an ICO because you think it's going to make you rich quick. I think that is the absolute wrong mentality to have regarding the space in general, and I think it undermines the legitimacy of the space. It's kind of an unfortunate thing that's happened over the past year or so. I would say learn how blockchain technology works from the technical level, the cryptography involved. It's amazing. It's so interesting, and I would say be in it for the long haul, and don't get distracted by some of the hype that we are seeing now. I'm not one for the whole Lambos, the moon, wind moon. I think that's kind of a distraction. I think it's a very serious and amazing technology. So I would say learn how it works and get involved with programs or projects from people who are respectable and who've been in the space for a bit and whose intentions are good.